here. And then we have this area down here called the cauda equina, the horse's tail. So the spinal cord stops here. And then we have a bunch of nerves coming off of it. We had cervical spinal nerves because they were in the cervical region. Thoracic spinal nerves because they were in the thoracic region. Lumbar spinal nerves in the lumbar region. And then the sacral spinal nerves all the way down at the bottom. And there were the same three meninges in the spinal cord as there were in the brain. Dura mater, arachnoid mater, and pia mater. And so we have spinal cord in the middle. We have the epidural space up on top of the arachnoid. This is pointing in the wrong place. Okay. So the dura mater is the orange here. No, now I got myself confused. I'm trying to prove that the diagram's wrong. So the epidural space is on top, is between the dura mater and the arachnoid mater, right? And so if that is this, the dura mater is out here. No. We'll come back to this one, okay? It won't be on the quiz. I'll figure what the heck's going on. I'm guessing what happened is this got moved, the little text boxes and lines got moved on the slide. But if we look at it, we have the spinal cord in the middle and then the meninges going on outside. And then we have two spinal nerves coming in from the side with the posterior and anterior root ganglia. So we had in the middle of the spinal cord, the darker area, that was the gray matter, the butterfly shape in the center. And then around that was the white matter, everything else around that. And so the gray matter is going to be where the information is processed. That's where that neural integration is going to happen. The white matter is white because it has myelin. It's going to carry signals. It's going to carry signals up to our brain and then back down to our muscles. So the gray matter, we had posterior horns. So we had they had the posterior horns, and then we had the anterior horns. The gray commissure was the area that ran right through the middle. The white matter was everything around it, and we had different tracks that ran up and down. So ascending tracks run up, descending tracks come down. What's going to be an ascending track? Sensory information or motor information? Sensory. It's going to take sensory information up to the brain in the ascending tracks, and the descending tracks are going to take the motor information back down. We also had these nerve plexuses, which were the areas where a lot of these spinal nerves were going to come together and make intersections. So that is the part of the spinal cord that we covered. I'm going to leave that to you to go back through. I will, though, remind me, I'll figure out what the heck is going on with this. We can talk about it.
That's right, according to the rule.
Then I guess my nerves got crossed up here, and it's not making sense to me.
Oh, no, wait. No, maybe not.
It's not showing the reference.
Yeah.
It throws it off.
Yeah, I think it is a little off.
Yeah, because this is not the subarachnoid space.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it is off.
This is the subarachnoid space, here. Yeah, so dura, arachnoid, here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So it is off. I'm not crazy. It's off.
Mhm.
Well, yeah, I was going there. You beat me there. Okay. So last thing to talk about are reflexes. So a reflex is going to be quick, it's going to be involuntary, and it's always going to happen the same. And it's going to be a response to a sensory input. And the reflex can be either a motor or muscle stimulation, or it can be a gland thing. So in order for a reflex to happen, we have to have a stimulation. Reflexes don't just happen on their own. So we have somatic reflexes, and these are going to be reflexes involving our skeletal muscle system. And so we're going to go through an example of the parts and how one of these somatic reflex arcs happens. So imagine I get hit in that little spot on my knee, right? The sensory information is going to travel up to my spinal cord. The integration is going to happen in the spinal cord, and then the muscle action control is going to be sent back out to my leg. That's going to be a reflex arc. The back, the forward and back is going to be an arc. And so there's a somatic receptor. There's the thing in my knee that's going to feel that. If I touch something hot, I'm immediately going to pull my hand back. That's going to be a reflex also. There's going to be a somatic sensor, a receptor, that's going to feel the initial response. Then there are going to be afferent nerve fibers. So they're going to carry that sense from my fingers into my spinal cord. There's the integrating center in the gray matter in the spinal cord. Then an efferent nerve fiber that carry the muscle action potential back out to the muscles. And then there are the effectors, which are, in this case, the muscles that are going to contract and make my body move. But the effector could also be something like a gland. So here we hit the knee, there's a receptor that feels it. It's going to send that signal up the afferent nerve fibers into the gray matter. Integration is going to happen. It's going to come back down, out the efferent nerve fibers, down into the leg, and make the effector, which is, in this case, is the quadriceps, contract, which is going to make the leg jump. That is a reflex. Like it doesn't have to be something being hit. Pain is also a reflex. A lot of times, think about it. If you touch something hot, usually you touch it hot, you jerk back, and then you realize that was hot. Why do you realize it in that order? It seems like you realize that it was hot after you've already pulled your hand back.
But wouldn't a reflex kind of have to do without unconscious thought? Because I can
Right.
convince myself to hold on something high.
Right, so it's unconscious thought. Where is that thought happening?
Spinal cord.
The spinal cord. Where is the thought that's... Ignore me pointing at my head. Where is that thought going to happen that, oh, this is hot? In the brain. The brain is further away from my hand than the spinal cord. The spinal cord is simpler. That whole neural integration process is going to happen faster also. So it's going to get to my spinal cord quicker than it's going to get to my brain. And my spinal cord doesn't have as many things it has to think about. So it's going to make a decision quicker and send it back. And again, the distance between the spinal cord to my hand is shorter again. So the signal to pull back is going to happen. So if you want to force yourself, you're either going to have to put your hand on it, not knowing it's hot, take it back, and then say, oh wait, I actually do want that. Or you have to know ahead of time, this is hot, I'm going to overcome that reflex and just grab on it. But if you don't know it, there's no way that you can prevent
Still
yourself.
consider a reflex even if you can convince yourself to do it.
So-
Because when he hits my knees, I can tell myself the whole entire time, come on, don't move my leg, but it's gonna move no matter what.
So you're able to overcome that. So the different reflexes are stronger, right? And so but movement of your hand is something you have very strong control of. And so you're able to say, I am going to send the signals to my muscles, I want my arm to go out. And those motor units that are putting my arm out are going to be stronger than the ones that the reflex tries to use to pull back. And so there's more force out than in, and so my hand stays out. Questions on any of that? I know that's a lot. Especially once you consider the stuff that we breezed through. So, the quiz next week will only be on the new stuff. Okay? And so if you're studying for next week, you got a little bit of a break.